Well, welcome to the journey. It is your boy, Journeyman Bell, aka Mr. 100, coming with part 2 of understanding and navigating through hurts. You know, I've already did part 1. You've got to go back and look at that teaching as I was talking about the accidental hurt that is created or caused and what we should do from it and how to identify it. We're going to go to part 2 on now as we are dealing with the intentional hurt. The intentional hurt is, of course, the opposite of accidental. It means that someone is deliberately sabotaging and trying to create pain in your life. This hurt is caused, watch this, through a clear intent to create pain to you. This is very malicious, as completely opposite of accidental. It is malicious, it is strategic, it is targeted to use to force you into causing pain. In other words, someone is intentionally using and sabotaging your heart places. That means that someone that knows something will hurt you, will intentionally use this against you. Now, let me be fair in saying this, and I mean that loosely when I say fair, that the intentional can be used as well as the accidental through the same person. Because sometimes when we're hurting, we want to intentionally hurt someone. But this is not to identify if the person only is doing specifically an accidental or intentional, because sometimes it can be a part of both. It's just predicated upon your history with the person and the history with the situation. So those are the kind of things that you have to kind of reel back in and discover. Because if they say something that they know will hurt your feelings, that's an intentional hurt. Now, they may be hurt by it, but like I said, these cases are back and forth with one another because they work case by case or situation or issue by issue that requires that. So these are kind of the characteristics of it. It is strategic and targeted, a targeted use of the person's info to cause pain. I've been a part of it, and I have used intentional information to create pain. So I'm guilty on both sides. I've been received of for intentional information, kind of like when you kind of remind somebody of something in a heated place to create a moment of pain. These kind of things, these kind of situations are all part of the tactics that we use for intentional pain. So also these betrayal places are part of intentional pains. Manipulation is a part of it as well, because you want to create pain in order to get something from an individual. Harsh words, degrading words, these kind of things, they fall up under, as well as repeated disrespect of patterns. If someone continually disrespects you, then these are sure enough signs of intentional hurts. So when you get to looking at this, here's something I want you to be aware of. Does their behavior reflect their condition, or their behavior reflects their condition, but not the value of you? Their behavior reflects their condition, but not the value of you, okay? So just because they treat you in a certain way, that does not diminish the value of who you are. It does not take away from the person that you are, or the battle, or the person you've become or trying to become. But also remember this, that the root of it all is still from unresolved pains. These things coming from them are unresolved. They're intentional, but the reason why they're intentional on you is because they are unresolved issues that they have. These are insecure places that they have, places of rejection that may be a part of it, as well as being broken. Sometimes these broken places will create intentional pains as well. Deliberate attacks of shutting down is an intentional pain. If they know that you prefer to talk and then they choose to shut down on purpose, those are indeed intentional attacks, intentional pains that create hurt in our lives. And I think we overlook a lot of these things as well. But you have to, here's the solution for them. These intentional plays, these manipulative, these betrayals that continue to happen, these harsh words that degrade you and try and belittle you and try and make you feel less than, name calling you outside of your name, calling you outside of who you are as an individual. All these different things are a part of intentional hurts. These disrespect places are patterns. All these things, they're rooted in the individual that created this hurt. And I'm trying to help you understand the reason why they attack you is because they have unresolved pains. They are, I hate to say it this way, they are frustrated with themselves, but they take it out on you. They don't like themselves, but they take it out on you. Instead of fixing and working on themselves, they would rather discredit you and make you feel bad. But if you don't see it, you cannot identify it. Watch this. Here's the solution for it. Identify the patterns. You got to see what they do. Whether they shut down, whether they're stonewalling you, whether they're putting blame on you, falsely accusing you, all the different elements that come with redeflecting from you or redeflecting back towards you in a place where it clearly comes from them. You can't be upset with who they are in their pain, because you didn't create it most times. It was already there. So therefore you have to govern yourself accordingly. And therefore you have to identify the pattern. Watch the pattern. Watch what they do. Study what they do and adjust yourself accordingly. Here's a clear statement. Stop trying to heal them and fix them when there is no indication that they want to be fixed. Worry about your own self. Like the little girl said, worry about your own self. Don't worry about me. Worry about your own self. And yes, it is a little bit of selfishness involved. But listen, you're trying to protect your hurt places. You're trying to get healed yourself. So if you identify the patterns, you can see where you need to start preparing yourself, withdrawing yourself, and creating yourself some distance, which is my next point. Setting boundaries. As much as you're in their lives, and sometimes it's a little more difficult because of the connection, but you're in their lives, set the boundaries. Set the boundaries. You got to set some type of boundaries. What kind of boundaries can I set? You can set boundaries as far as what you will not listen to. You have to learn how to walk away from some things. You have to learn how to give space to some types of things when people are intentionally trying to hurt you. Learn how to give that space to them. You got to set some kind of boundary, or else they're going to continue to invade those areas. Last but not least is forgive without connecting. Just because you forgive them does not mean that you have to, Just because you forgive them does not mean that you have to reconnect with them. Forgiveness does not mean that we go back to what we was. Forgiveness means that I am letting this go in my life so that I can be better. Okay? Since I got time, I'm going to do the purposeful hurt real fast. Purposeful hurt is the hurt. Wait, watch this. Last note real quick is learn how to process without access. Learn how to process without access is learning how to process this information without giving them access to your life in that way. Like I said, some connects you can't help but to stay away from, but some you are tied to in whatever form or fashion, but you have to learn how not to give them access to that part of your life. It's a practice that you got to keep working on. So, moving on to purposeful hurt. Purposeful hurt is the pain that has a deeper purpose involved. In other words, it's tied to growth, direction, and spiritual development. These types of hurts can sometimes be hard to discover. It's hard to ID a lot of times. So I'm just going to give you these quick tips to kind of help you identify when it's purposeful hurt, because sometimes when we get hurt by people or situations, we try and tie it to a negative thing. But when God is trying to do something with you, he will indeed allow certain purposeful hurts to enter your life. And therefore, to some little quick tips on how to some quick tips on how to identify purposeful hurt is, watch this. Closed doors force new direction. That means when certain things come in your life and you're trying to go a certain way and it will not allow you, that these are indications that God is trying to do something new in your life. Stop trying to force yourself in relationships that literally close the door on you and don't want you there anymore. We got to grow up in maturity places and realize when these doors no longer want us in them. These certain rooms of our lives, these certain pathways of our life, we've got to identify them. Watch this. Losses that change character. Certain things that come in your life that come to strip you and change who you are as an individual. These are the things that you have to be aware of. That the losses that change your character, the losses that change who you are as an individual, the losses that change who you are as a person, the losses that changing how your character is. Last but not least is the situation that pushes you to God. These pains that push you to God. And a lot of times, a lot of things push us toward God because we're looking for these places of resolve and healing and places and circumstances that will bring us a peace. But some of these pains are strategically designed to mature you, to grow you up. And it's important for you to understand that this purposeful part of us is to indeed grow us up. We got to grow up in some areas, and God will use pain as an element to mature us. Last but not least, here's the solution for it. Ask, what is this pain producing? Your pain has a cultivating factor that you have to ask yourself to. And remember this, that some pains are preparations, not punishments. Because we oftentimes feel like, what did I do to deserve this? When actually it's a preparation for something greater. Why God used pain to mature us, I don't know. But what I do know that this is a purpose for them. And if you understand the purposeful hurts, then you'll be able to grow a lot faster. I think we spend way too much time trying to figure out why this person hurt us or why this situation happened this way to cause this pain, instead of realizing, okay, this pain happened, but what was the purpose behind it? God, why did you want this to create this pain in me? When you start asking that kind of question, I think it kind of leads more into a peaceful place of trusting God through our pain. Trusting God, whether it's intentional, accidental, or purposeful, that there is a reason for why we went through what we went through, or why we're going through what we're going through. But there is purpose in it. Think about that for a minute. There is purpose in the pain. No matter if the door is closed, new direction. Losses, change of character. Situations that are pushing me for growing up, I got to embrace it. So what purposeful pain is God using so that you become a better person? This journey, we believe in taking life one step at a time. We'll talk to you all soon. Take care.